let's review the process for writing the conclusion. Now remember, we are writing the conclusion right after we have written our body paragraphs. And the reason we do that is simply because we already have fresh in our mind the 3 topics that we've spoken about, which is manipulation, fearsomeness, and spitefulness. So it should be easy to transition right in kind of a summary of what we just wrote about and give some information about why we wrote about those things. So let's go over the structure. The first thing is we're going to restate the 3 topics that we spoke about. This is a great opportunity for your initial sentence to maybe use one of those style techniques of the triples, okay? So for example, this is what I mean. The White Witch, who claimed to be the ruler of Narnia, used manipulation, used fear, and used spitefulness to dominate and control the impressed inhabitants of the land. Now, hopefully you noticed that I said used manipulation, used fear, and used spitefulness. Those 3 terms are kind of repeating a term and therefore qualifies as a triple. You can make that sentence however you want, but that is just an example to restate the 3 topics in a sentence that is not just a simple, the White Witch was manipulative, fearsome, and spiteful. You guys are in middle school, so I'm really hoping to see a very creative sentence there, okay? The second thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what is most important and why we thought it was most important. In regards to this particular lesson, we are going to write about which character trait had the most horrible impact on the people of Narnia, okay? So I even want you to put into your sentence that the most horrible impact on the citizens of Narnia, whatever. This might be a good opportunity for you to do a because clause. So for instance, here's a sentence, and I'm even, if you pay attention, going to use a prepositional opener. When I use the word in, that's a preposition. So my sentence is, in particular, fear stands out as having the most horrible impact on the citizens of Narnia because it takes away people's sense of security. So what I've done was, not only did I use a prepositional phrase, I used the terms that I said I'd like for you to use, having the most horrible impact on the citizens of Narnia. Okay? And then I use the because clause. So I'm going to pick one of those 3 topics, and I'm going to say this one stands out to me as the most horrible impact. Now, you may choose that her manipulation was the most horrible, or you may choose that her spitefulness was most horrible. The good news is now you get to tell me why. Why was fear the most horrible one? So you could also start that sentence something like this. You could say, although all three character traits are tyrannical, I think, no, let me back up. You can't say I. Don't say I. You could say, although all 3 traits are tyrannical, fear stands out as having the most horrible impact on the citizens of Narnia. Or another way to possibly say it is, considering all these traits, fear stands out as the most impactful on the citizens of Narnia because blah, blah, blah. So give me a couple sentences there of which was the most horrible trait that you think had the worst impact on Narnia. And then you need to tell me why you think it had the most horrible effect. Something that really stood out to you. And then finally, the last sentence should be a kind of a clincher of the entire essay. So this lets the reader know that you have completed the essay. It also may reflect the hook that you used. And I'm going to talk about the hook in just a minute. So this can kind of be written, kind of just put something down. It's kind of an end statement, something you want the reader to take away with from your story. And it could reflect the hook that I'll tell you about in a few minutes. But it could be something else. Let me give you a few examples of what I mean. I had some written down. Through her manipulative, sorry, not through, though her, it is through, I'm reading it wrong because I'm trying to go fast. Through her manipulative tactics, the White Witch creates an atmosphere of fear and distrust, causing the creatures of Narnia to live in constant terror of her wrath and preventing them from standing up for what is right. So that kind of summarizes all of the things that we've talked about, but it still implies that to me, the fear, the atmosphere of fear and distrust was kind of the most impactful. I'll say that sentence again in case you like it. Through her manipulative tactics, the White Witch creates an atmosphere of fear and distrust, causing the creatures of Narnia to live in constant terror of her wrath and preventing them from standing up for what is right. Now, if you chose something like fearsome as your most horrible character trait, you could use something like this. Her fearsome control over Narnia's inhabitants, driven by her cruelty and spite, have left the land in perpetual winter, stifling hope and joy while enforcing her ruthless rule over every corner of the realm. That one's for Ezra. I think he might like that one. Anyway, hopefully that gave you a little bit more encouragement on what to do on the conclusion paragraph. Again, you're going to restate the topics. And this is all in your book in the conclusion KWO. Restate the topics. You're going to tell me what the most horrible impact of the citizens is, and then you're going to tell me why you think so. And then you're going to make a last sentence clincher. If you have any questions, give me a call.